Octavio, thanks for sitting down with me today.
Thank you, Marc. It's a pleasure.
I understand BASF has a very important facility here in Saskatoon. Can you tell me a little bit about that facility and what its purpose is?
Absolutely. Our manufacturing facility here in Saskatoon is aimed at producing some of our biological products, mostly inoculants. The main market that they supply is the Canadian market here in the region, but also they have a very significant global importance for us as well. We export products from this facility to basically everywhere else in the world. It makes basically two types of products. We have our peat-based inoculants. One good example of that is High Stick. It's a self-adherent peat-based inoculant that's used for, among other things, soybeans and other products. The one that has been where we have seen a lot of growing demand is in our solid core granules, which is a very interesting form of presentation for the product, because not only it carries the inoculants, but it also, because of the shape of the product and the technology around how it's made, it allows for a very good flowability, which makes the in-furrow application very precise and reduce clumping and all other issues that many times are seen with other, especially with the traditional peat-based inoculants, crumbled peat or other things.
I understand you're expanding the facility. What does that expansion look like and why is it important?
Well, the Saskatoon site has been a very important site for us since the acquisition of the Becker Underwood business. The portfolio out of that site has had a very high level of acceptance. It's very interesting to see how when we started putting the focus on the benefits and the value and telling the right story to the market and to the growers, to the distributors and retailers, the acceptance was tremendously high. And that demand grew very fast, and very quickly it exceeded our capacity to produce. So the investment is a dual purposed investment. One is to just overall increase our capacity of solid core granules. This increase is to basically double capacity, but it also has some additional safety impacts, because increasing the safety of our operation for us is very critical, reduce ergonomical risks and exposures for our employees. But also it is an enabler for the production of this new product that we're bringing to market, which is the Nodulator Duo, which has, besides the Rhizobia strains in it, it also brings together the Bacillus subtilis, which is a biofungicide, which, so besides the Rhizobia having the impact of increasing nodulation in the root systems and therefore increasing nitrogen fixation, reducing the need for added fertilizers, but the Bacillus subtilis, what it does is it promotes the creation of a biofilm around the root system, which then protects that root system from the stresses that it can be subjected to in the soil.
Now, I understand that you hail from Brazil.
Yes.
BASF also has a facility in Brazil.
Yes.
How does that facility compare to the facility here in Saskatchewan?
Well, I don't know if I had a chance to tell you before, but I am not from the ag industry traditionally for my career. I actually just joined ag in the past 5 years when I joined BASF in 2012. But I am familiar with our facility in Brazil. It's what we call a mixed facility. It makes active ingredients and it makes formulated products as well. It's mostly focused on chemical products, but we do have two other facilities that are focused on biologicals, and those are further south in Brazil, one in south in Brazil and the other one in Argentina. And those facilities are actually more focused on liquid inoculants, whether here in Saskatoon we have more the liquid inoculant in that self-adhering peat format, and we have the solid core granule and the crumbled peat granule. So those are different type applications, but they're also inoculants. And of course, when you're talking about inoculants, those strains are going to be very regionalized and also specific to the crop that you're using them in.
I imagine the Brazil facility is very important to the community there, and you mentioned today that the Saskatoon facility is also very important to the community here in Saskatchewan. Can you describe for me why it's so important to the local community here and how?
Yeah, I think one, very important because one, we generate jobs, and you know, we believe that being part of the community means you're engaged not only by bringing people in that work for you, but also in having those people then go back into the community and help support the local community. We tend to promote the engagement of our employees in different community type activities. Like, for example, we have people from the site actively involved in the local Saskatoon Food Bank. They have helped fundraise through the Dragon Boat Festival. They have people that are involved with the MS Society events like Bike MS. So it's important to have that connection to the community and being involved and being basically giving back to the community, because that's the way that we can strengthen the local community overall. And by making that community stronger, that means that we also can be stronger. And it also helps us with our recruiting efforts, it helps with our retention, and it helps creating just a healthier community overall.
You mentioned you don't have a formal background in agriculture.
Right.
I'm encountering that more and more nowadays. People who, like myself and you, who are in this industry, who don't have a formal background in ag. Are you seeing that more often now, and why do you think there's that shift?
Absolutely. I think that traditionally, if you look 20, 30, 40 years ago, there was almost a self-determination when you chose a certain professional degree or education. You were almost picking a certain path or career. I'm a chemical engineer by trade with an MBA, but my path has always been in synthetic fibers and plastics and reinforcement materials. When I joined BASF in 2012, what I found is I found purpose. Up to that point, I really enjoyed doing what I did because I enjoyed the technology challenges and I enjoyed the knowledge involved in it. What happened to me when I joined BASF and I joined the ag industry was finding something that is beyond just making a product or beyond just making a paycheck. It's actually being part of something bigger, being part of feeding the world. It's such a great, worthy mission, and to be part of that, I think it's becoming more and more relevant to people. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing more and more people from diverse backgrounds coming into agriculture, because they are seeing that that is a challenge that is worth taking on.
Octavio, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marc. It's been a pleasure.